James.
And I'm Michael Hart.
Guys, what's going on? We have a good episode for you. Weather's getting warm out here. Lots been going on. I know I say that every week, but it's every 2 weeks that we don't get to talk to you guys. So stuff happens. Mike, what's
Dude,
been going
absolutely. Absolutely, man. I mean, hey, episode 8, super excited to be here. Just shout out to everyone listening to the show first and foremost. I mean, we say this again every single week, but we've been seeing the numbers go up consistently. So we are obviously reaching some new ears. So welcome to the Humble Threads podcast. Yes, man, it is getting beautiful outside.
Oh, yes.
Just last night, me and the wife went out to grab some dinner, and we had the windows down, we had the sunroof open, and it just we are finally getting a glimpse of what the nicer weather is going to bring us.
Yes.
There are still some, in the parking lots, there are still some large, dirty snow piles hanging around, holding on to that winter. But I do believe we are finally heading into some nicer weather, which is absolutely awesome. But with nicer weather, things start to happen. People start either going outside more, maybe they're going for hikes, taking their dogs for longer walks. Maybe they're spring cleaning the house, taking care of some things. And for me, spring kind of started off with a bang in this household for sure. So we've been having a slight problem with our kitchen sink.
Okay.
And so we've been having this issue where we must have put something down it, right? We must have poured something down there we probably shouldn't have. We do have a disposal, but I still think we might have dripped something down there. Maybe some fat, maybe some bacon fat. Who knows what it was? But we were having this issue for a while where every time we would run the sink or run the disposal, we have a kind of like an overflow or just like a spare sink that's in our garage of our house. And we were finding that anytime we were using the main kitchen sink, it would just back into the garage sink. So thankfully it wasn't like flooding the floors. There wasn't it wasn't like your problem where the ceiling was dripping because the upstairs was kind of a mess. And so I didn't know what to do. We were like, all right, let's just go get some Drano. Let's just pour it down there and see if it can clear it up. Just try to do the lazy man's plumber job.
Yep.
But that didn't work. And I left it for like a day, and we came back. We found out that the tub in the sink in our garage was completely overflowing and just slowly dripping food debris and just really gross smelling water, just because it wasn't sewage. It was just leftover stuff that had gone down the sink and through the disposal. So it was just kind of like rotting food, I guess, which was not a great smell. And so I'm just out there freaking out. I'm like, oh my God. We have a small garage. So I went and grabbed a pitcher of water and I started bailing it out. I just got my largest boiling pan pot from the stove and started using that to dish it out and throw it out into the yard, because there was so much of this. And I just reached a point where I was like, this is out of my hands. I need to pull in the big guns. Where's my Super Mario? Where's the Mario Brothers when you need them to do some plumbing for you? But for me, that's honestly I had to reach out to the one and only my dad. My dad is super handy. He's just the kind of guy that you say you need something fixed, you say you need something done, and he's there in a minute. But the only catch is he doesn't do it necessarily for you. He kind of makes you do it. He wants you to learn. He wants you to build those skills. And that's something I've always admired about him and his kind of tactic. When I was younger, it was always kind of like, oh man, can't you just do it for me, Dad?
Yeah.
And it's now that I'm older, I'm a homeowner, there are things that you need to start to learn how to do yourself.
Yep.
And plumbing is one of them that just, you just gotta, it's helpful to have some level of understanding on how to do some plumbing. But, thankfully with his help, he did come on over. We were able to kind of force flush the sink by kind of creating a back draft on it. We basically put a plug in the sink in the garage, and we held that plug in. Meanwhile, I was running the tap in the kitchen and forcing a suction with the disposal, and somehow we must have cleared it, and all of a sudden it just fell down and cleared the clog, and that was all good. And crisis averted. We mopped up the garage and everything was okay there. But then my dad's the kind of guy, he's like, he can never get enough. And he's like in his older, he's an older gentleman, so like he's retired. He's just always trying to stay busy, stay active. I mean, he just got back from a skiing trip, but this he's in his late 70s or if not early 80s at this point. Like he's a man, a jack of all trades, for sure. But before he leaves for the day, he was like, so now we fixed that. Is there anything else? And I just happened to mention that we have a toilet and the toilet's fine, it works great, whatever, but it does like kind of like run a lot throughout the day. Like you hear it like suddenly start needing to fill up again, and so we must have had a leak in the tank or something. He takes a quick look at the toilet, realizes it's a really old toilet. It's probably been in the house for like maybe 10 years. It needs to be replaced. He looks at the plumbing. He's not excited about it. We try to turn off the water to the tank, and then the water tap then explodes and water spraying all out of the tap. And my dad just looks at me. He goes, run to the basement and turn this water off now before we flood the entire house. And then so we do that. And he just looks at me and he goes, Mike, you just need a new toilet. We need to completely replumb this whole thing. And I was like, Dad, I just got my stimulus. I'm not trying to like, just suddenly go drop money on a brand new toilet. Is there anything we can do to fix this? And he goes, absolutely not. We're going to buy you. We're going to get you a new toilet. We're going to redo all of the plumbing, and you're going to do nearly all of it. So let's just do it. And I was like, oh man, Dad, this is my Friday. This is my day off. Like, this is just the day I wanted to kind of relax and maybe, get some things done around the house. And he goes, you are getting things done around the house. And I was like, yes, but this is kind of like a whole nother level of things I wasn't prepared for.
Yeah.
But regardless, we ended up at Home Depot. We got this really nice toilet. It's like they call it a one-piece toilet. It's so fancy. It's got two flushers. It's got like a light flush and a heavy flush. Yeah, I don't know, man. But so it was quite a debacle just getting the toilet in, because the actual plumbing, the water that comes up into that fills the tank, that pipe was completely fitted incorrectly whenever they did it originally. So we had to completely hacksaw it off, cut through the copper piping, and actually re-solder weld on new copper piping to get the whole thing. It was a bit of a mess. Nearly caught the house on fire with a blowtorch, but it works great. Love it. A wife is happy, brand new toilet in the master bath.
God,
But so like I said, man, spring comes around, once a year, and it tends to bring surprises with it. Outside of those two things, things are kind of mellowed out. Things are okay. No more clogs, no more leaky anythings. Everything's good. But we are now aggressively reconsidering how we want to landscape the backyard, and that's a whole nother ball of worms, can of worms, is the better way to say it. And I'm sure we'll talk more about that maybe next time on the podcast once we've had a couple more times out there. But dude, man, I don't know how Mario and Luigi do this, man, but plumbing ain't my gig. But dude, like, what is going on in the world of Graves?
Just you talking about that is just giving me flashbacks of me talking to Ashley about our house, because as everyone knows, we still have numerous of things to do. I don't know if I've talked to you guys since we got. I don't know if I talked to you since I got the rejection letter for our basement. No. Okay. See, now we got some stuff to talk about. I forgot. So that puts me back a couple weeks. I got to talk to you guys about. That was probably 2 weeks ago, but. As well as Mike, with spring, there's stuff that needs to be done. Wintertime, I kind of let it rock. Our contractor really wasn't coming out as much because of snow and everything, but we are coming up on a year of this man promising that our basement would be done and or full house. He's been getting rejected left and right. I don't know if it's by the township. Yeah, it was by the township. So we look at the letter. If any of you guys are contractors out there, you'll probably understand this. This man put nothing on the blueprint. So they gave us the paper and it was like, this is why your whatever it's called, your permit's being rejected. Because you didn't put where the doors are in the basement leading to outside. You didn't put where the windows are in the basement leading to outside. You didn't put the electrical panel that's down outside or that's inside. You didn't put where the like it's some type of plumbing pipe we have that's cut open in the wall, so we see that. You didn't put that on the permit. There was like you wanted to use this insulation, but you should be using the insulation that we've told you that's recommended for this house. So no. And I was like, Ash, how many times has this got, rejected? She was like 4 times. I was like, so you mean to tell me this dude has been putting the same crap on this blueprint, and it just keeps getting rejected. And she was like, I guess so. I was like, okay. So I was like, I don't
Jeez.
know if and I'm more, once I start getting upset, I let things go. I give people leadway. I'm not trying to get, on someone's case if it gets rejected once. Like, it's on them. But I was like, you know what? Next time I see this man, we're going to have a man-to-man conversation. Be like, listen, we're in this house. I understand it's a foreclosured house. You got your money. You got half your money up front. You're probably dragging your feet. You want to do it this way. Do what they want. We are coming up on a year of us not having this stuff done. I've lived in this house. I've been patient. We've been patient with you. Just do it. And hopefully he respects me as a man, saying, you know what, he is a man in the house with his wife or his girlfriend. I'll have to respect him and everything else like that. Or we're gonna have to have some words. I don't know, but I'm getting tired of that, man. That's been an ongoing battle. I want to be able to, be in the basement, be upstairs, and all this other stuff. Have company over. COVID's not going away anytime soon. I want people to be separated. Not all up in each other's face. So, we also have a 72-inch TV in the basement that's been sitting there since Black Friday.
Wow.
Ashley's great idea was like, let's get the TV. And I was like, why? And she was like, well, now's the best time because, whenever the basement's done, I was like, all right, whatever.
At least you got it, right?
It's just, hopefully it still works. Like, it's been sitting down there. So we'll see. I got to have a conversation with him. But yeah, so we're doing some home improvement stuff also. Like, I just painted our bathroom upstairs. She's been talking about she wanted to do it. I just said, let me be nice. I'll do that. I've been cleaning. With the nice weather comes Coda wanting to be outside, which is amazing. So she just runs outside, does whatever she wants to do. She comes inside. She's pooped. I'm happy because I can go do what the hell I want to do, and she can go sit down and just leave me alone. And that's what we were doing today. We were outside playing with our neighbors, and she came inside. She fell asleep on the couch. I fell asleep. I was like, cool. Get a little nap in, and then we're hopping in the pod. But yeah, man. Well, mostly I'm upset about the contractor. Okay, that's mostly me. But I feel you on that toilet situation. We just like we said last time, that thing, because we got ours replaced and it hasn't been filling the bowl. So I'm saying, okay, so you got to unscrew this thing in the top tank. It fills, and then it just constantly kept running. So I had to put it back to where it was. So there's barely any water in the toilet. I was like, whatever. At least it's working. Nothing's leaking. I don't care.
Well, we'll tell you what, man. If I ever end up, we end up hanging out, and you're like, yo, Mike, go look at this toilet. I just plumbed in a whole toilet, man. Like I know everything. I feel like I'm a blowtorch. I feel like I could be my own contractor or something like that. Like I don't know. Like we got like I end up having to use a hacksaw, like a hacksaw to cut these copper piping manually and then blowtorch it. Oh man. But like it's a mess. And I'm just saying, like, being a homeowner there are so many things that, like, my wife reminds me this all the time. When something goes wrong or something's not working, she goes, the joys of being a homeowner. And it's like, like this is our, at least for the foreseeable future, and maybe one day we might go somewhere else, move somewhere, do whatever. But for now, this is our castle, right? Mm-hmm. So we are doing things to try to, they call it sweat equity, putting some money back into the house you purchased to not only just kind of like modernize it, bring it up to date, but fix the things that would need to be fixed if you ever were to sell it, right? So like, overall, I think we're looking at like replacing our windows at some point, doing like a sliding glass door, doing basic stuff, and then repainting most of the rooms, maybe doing some of the trim. But yeah, that's just what it is, man. Like if it's not one thing, it's another. And as soon as you've patched all the holes somewhere else, another one pops open. It's kind of like trying to sail in Sea of Thieves. Like you're trying to patch up all the holes in the bottom of the ship, and all of a sudden another one pops up, and you got the buckets of water going, and all of a sudden you're sinking, and there's a shark, and you're like, oh man. At
least your wife though, goes to you and says, all right, Mike can do this. Ashley's favorite thing is, let's call my dad. I'm like, why? She's like, I don't know. And no offense, Bob, if you're listening, I love Bob, but here's the story I will tell you guys about being a man and just dealing with a woman, and she has all women in her life, so sisters and niece and whatever. So they put in the ceiling fan downstairs. It's not turning when they turn on the light switch. Me being who I am, I was like, yo, like guys, I've worked 2 summers as a handyman at a retirement home. We took out a whole toilet, put in a toilet. We've hung pictures. We've done windows, like we've done it all. I've done it all, everybody. So I usually know what I'm doing. And I said, "Yo, you got these plastic things in the rotor, so they're not spinning." Everyone ignores me. I said, "Okay." Bob goes, "Yeah, so you might have to take the whole thing back. We're gonna have to unscrew it and take it back to Home Depot." And I was like, "No." And Ashley's like, "Well, if my dad can't do it, you can't do it." And I said, "Oh, okay." So I took it off. I unscrewed the plastic thing, screwed it into the ceiling, tight everything. It's moving. Ashley comes in. I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" I was like, "You feel that?" She was like, "What?" I was like, "Wait, just put your hands out. Do you feel that?" She was like, "The air that's coming." I said, "The fan is moving." You didn't want to listen to me, and you belittled me and said, "If my dad can't do it, you can't do it." Girl, you're messing with the wrong one. She was like, "I don't know. Well, I apologize," but I was like, "Whatever." But being a handyman in a retirement home, I've learned a lot. But just like you
No
brought
doubt.
up, one good thing that's happened to me and Mike and probably everybody else in the U.S. Uncle Joe came through with the stimulus, so we got a couple extra dollars. I decided to use mine to treat Ashley to buying groceries and everything since she's been carrying the load because of my work debacle. But
Yeah. Hey, just gotta keep looking, man. You'll find the right thing. And who knows? I mean, like maybe maybe something's gonna happen, right? Maybe there's plenty of year left, right? We're not even at the 6 month mark.
Oh yeah.
I feel like some crazy stuff's already happened this year, and I think that the rest of the year for us, individually, just for things going on, I'm willing to put it out there that I've got some good feelings for things coming in for us.
I mean, look at your YouTube shorts and look at my YouTube shorts. That's
I never would have believed that a video that I posted kind of haphazardly onto YouTube that was originally a TikTok, and all of a sudden, to some degree hitting like 19,000 views or something recently. And that's huge. I mean, for some people, like that's chump change, but I mean, for someone who's never kind of hit that level of viewership, I mean, that's awesome. I'm super excited for the kind of like the future of that.
Yeah, I know we took a break from streaming and everything, but I still feel like we're hitting all cylinders with stuff. I still can't believe I have like 1.9K on that one YouTube short and 34 subscribers. I was like, "Yo, to you guys out there, thank you."
Yo, keep going. Yeah, I mean,
I gotta put some stuff out.
I mean, I think a good place to leave that is that you gotta be willing to try something different. You gotta be willing to just to dust yourself off and get back up again and continue to try, because specifically in this world of virality in terms of content with like TikTok, Instagram Shorts, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, or even the new story things, the shorts that Snapchat came out with recently as well. In this kind of environment, this ecosystem of content, literally anything can go viral. There have been significantly wildly talented people go viral, but there's been also just been like your Uncle Joe down the street going viral for the way he mows his lawn or something. There really is no rhyme or reason to any of it, and I think it's just, if that's something that anyone out there wants, just keep going. Like, if it feels good to create it, continue to create. Don't let the thing you love become a job. Don't let it become something you dislike. Don't let it become a chore. Continue to chase the things that make you feel good. And I think with that, we are going to take a quick break here, everybody, and just get a word from our sponsor in, and then we'll be right back with the meat of the episode. We're talking about Pokemon and WandaVision, so stick with us, gang. We'll be right back.
Awesome. My eyes are... Oh my God, my allergies. Jesus Christ.
Dude, they're getting bad for me too.
I took a Claritin today. It's 24 hours. It didn't do nothing.
Oh yeah, dude. I take like a nose spray nonsense. Just try to like... Yeah, man, it's rough. I just honestly may have a rule, and like from the months of like February until November, I just am not allowed to touch my eyes.
Dude, I can't help it.
As soon as you wipe your eyes, like it's game over. Dude. It's game over.
Well, because like I get mad because I'm like I need to get that desk punching bag thing. I feel like that's what I need, because like I just want to touch them, and then when I touch them, it's just a continuous itch, and then I like put water on them.
Oh, dude, yeah.
It's that much
Or
it's
just
itchy. It's terrible.
or like normalize wearing goggles this time of year.
I just don't understand. Like, why me? But
I'm telling you, man.
all right. I guess I'll bring us back in.
Yeah, bring us back in and drop us directly into Wanda. Let's get your first big take on Wanda, and then I'll be the one to rebuttal it with anything that I kind of feel like I've got going on with it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, own it.
All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everyone. You heard Mike say it. We're diving into WandaVision. You're going to get probably two good perspectives on a show. You know, I am a very big comic book person. Mike, not too big of a comic book person himself, but he does enjoy, you know, the comic book genre.
I dabble.
Yeah,
I dabble.
He enjoys that medium. I've watched all of WandaVision. I've watched it twice. I watched it weekly, and then we watched it all together as once. Me and my girlfriend did. I don't want this to come off sounding like it's a bad show. A lot of people worked hard on the show. I never want to rag on someone for doing that. Did a great job. I was a little underwhelmed with the ending. I think.
Hold on. Spoilies.
Oh yeah. Spoilers. If you haven't.
If you haven't found listened to one of us, that we will be talking a little bit of spoilers. Just wanted to put the disclaimer in now before anyone got too invested. Mm-hmm. And we will kind of give you a point to jump back in here, maybe in the after edit or something when we move on to the next topic. But just wanted to throw it in there just ahead of time.
Yeah. You'll hear us when you hear no spoilers. Fast forward to that spot, and that's where we'll be at. But I think we're in a culture where we tend to theorize too much, and that's why Game of Thrones got ruined. I don't know, The Sopranos. I have no idea. Whatever show that leaves you guessing with mysteries and everything else like that. Power. Who knows? There's a lot of theorizing, and as being a comic book person, you expect them to do something that was from the comics, and they didn't do it. I gave WandaVision like an 8 out of 10. Amazing show. Who would have thought you would watch a superhero sitcom show? It's crazy. There's a lot of deep cuts in there. Her kids coming in. They brought in the other Pietro from the X-Men universe. They brought in the White Vision, which is from the comics, which is still crazy. They brought in Agnes, which was kind of wild. She taught her a little bit. But you know, just certain things where I was like, when it ended, I was like, oh, it ended. Like that was kind of how I felt with a lot of it. You know, White Vision disappeared and went off, and I was like, where the hell is he going? Like, if you knew who you were, wouldn't you stay there? But at the same time, I guess he's leaving to go process his stuff. There was no Cthulhu. There was no whatever else the other demons' names are in the Marvel universe. It was kind of just Agnes this whole time. So it was kind of like she was the in the comics. She's never an antagonist. Like she's kind of an antagonist. She's not the big bad ever. She's a lackey to someone. So I thought something deeper was going to come and lead into the multiverse of madness. But it kind of just left me like I don't know, like in this limbo where I was like, we're not getting Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness for another a year or two. So that's when it picks back up. So it's like okay, so you literally just gave me something, chopped it in half, and said here, and there's nothing. You don't know what the end result is, but it was good. It was good for what it was. It kept me going every week. I will say Marvel does a hell of a job to keep you interested in storylines and everything else like that. I was on the edge of my seat every week, like, yo, they're gonna bring this in, they're gonna bring that in. This is gonna happen. Who knows? I was really hyped to see that they did. Oh God. I forget what the African American actor is. The woman, I forget her name. You guys might have seen her in the show. Her comic book name is escaping me. I want to say it's Pulsar or something like that, but I'm very wrong. She was amazing in the show, especially seeing how her power set comes about and how she uses it. She sees different spectrums of energy, lights, and everything else like that, and puts her body into that. So when she was getting shot at, she turned herself into light to slow the bullets down, which was cool. She saw the beads on the Pietro's neck, which was cool. And that's something I was a little upset about. They kind of just threw him in there like a fun, little wink at us, like, oh, he's in the X-Men universe, but he doesn't really mean anything in the Marvel universe. Which I was kind of like, that sucks. But It is what it is. Marvel did a great job. I know a lot of comic book people kind of feel the way I feel, and it kind of ruins some stuff for me sometimes.
Mm.
Did you Google her name really quick?
Yes. Tayana Paris.
Tayana, she did an amazing job, especially with
Yes.
her character and how that's going to lead into Nick Fury and the Secret Invasion show. But all in all, great show. That did Scarlet Witch and Vision, the actors, phenomenal to be able to go into those different decades and keep it fun and lighthearted still, and still keep you engaged in the show. It was a really fun take on the House of M and also Avengers Disassemble. Those two comic books, they literally grabbed both of them and smashed them together, and I don't think they could have did a better job. But Mike, what is your feelings on the show? I know you were watching it from the comic book sidelines, enjoying it as a you know.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm very familiar with the Avengers, Endgame, all of that. I've seen all of those. So whereas I'm not a huge I guess source material fan. Like I didn't read a lot of the Avengers comic books growing up. For me, comic books, it was always about Spider-Man growing up, but it was like Spider-Man like before ever being involved with any of the Avengers or anything like that. So so yeah, like for me, like that whole Marvel Cinematic Universe is kind of like its own thing because I don't have anything else to kind of like be like, oh well, it should have been this way because in the comic books, so I don't have that like pre judgment of what it should be. So I get to just experience it kind of as it is, which is kind of exciting. It also kind of makes me want to go back and maybe read some of the source material to see like how it differs or maybe make my own decisions of which one is better. But so coming at WandaVision from kind of just like an outsider's perspective of what's going on, it took me a minute when I first started watching it to remember like the tragedy of what really Wanda and Vision had gone through the whole Avengers saga, to remind myself like, okay, like maybe this is Wanda's mental break, and this is just her trying to justify doing what she did to create this life that she can't have. But what I found really exciting and compelling about the show, regardless of the canon that it might be spinning, twisting, recreating, improvising on, I really enjoyed just how the show was shot. Like you said, like it gave that classic sitcom feel, but we all knew kind of like it was consistently breaking that fourth wall. Kind of like being aware that it was a show within a show, like specifically when like the people like the agents that were like at the camp outside of like what they call the octagon or something, or the hex or something. Yeah, the hex. And so having them being able to tap in to watch the show as it's being like supposedly broadcasted, I really liked that, and I really liked how every episode was a different era of sitcom, and how well just the overall writing of the show really captured like that vibe of each era. Meanwhile, telling the story of Wanda and Vision. So yeah, I mean, like I'm right there with you. I think from kind of like more of an outside perspective on the comic book, Marvel Cinematic Universe, do I think this kind of has a place? Well, I mean, I have to say yes, because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's a multiverse. So like there's so much that can happen. Like even though it wasn't directly supposed to be linked when they brought in I forget his name, but yes, Pietro from the X-Men's universe to play the same character that it was played by a different actor in the actual Avengers movie, and they just played it off like he was supposed to be there, even though we then find out he was someone being controlled by Agatha. And but regardless, like just that level of like confidence to like as from a production side of things to be like, yo, we are gonna mess with the viewer right now. Like we're gonna make a choice. Like we could just bring the dead actor back. We could just bring he's not dead, but like the person, Pietro, like who played Quicksilver in the Avengers movie. We could just bring that actor back to play his part, and we could probably still say that Agatha was controlling him anyway, or whatever. Like they could have done that, but they didn't. They brought in the other guy and really played with the audience, and I thought that was really kind of like ingenious. Like like confusing, sure. And like, like you said, there are things that just don't make sense about how or why it's different from the original canon source material. But I think that's kind of like Marvel's scapegoat is the fact that in the multiverse, literally all possibilities are pretty much possible. So like it gives them a lot of, I guess, creative freedoms when they are recreating shows like this, so that if they think that for just the sake of production it would make more sense, or it would be a more interesting story to kind of spin it one other direction, they almost can say, well, hey, it's a multiverse. Like that, like you can't tell me that just because the original source material that covered that one universe of the multiverse where that happened, you can't say that this version couldn't have happened equally, because just kind of like Doctor Strange says in Avengers, like when they're asking, like, how many times did you see the outcomes where we won this thing? And he's like, I saw like 14 million 41 or something universes, and in only one of them it worked or something. So it's like he already just said that there's that many, like that there are that many outcomes, that many universes, that many ulterior opportunities for some crazy stuff to happen. So yeah, overall, I'm right there with you. I definitely think 8 out of 10 feels right. Specifically for like that, like a kind of like a real first attempt from Marvel to do like an episodic show that was high dollar, because obviously there's been like The Flash on the CW. There's been a couple of other shows that kind of come up out of nowhere, but those are kind of more on those like lower budget scale, maybe not, and kind of like almost completely void of the original source material in a way. So it's really nice to see higher budget content that is more or less utilizing the original source material.
They said they spent as much on a movie as they did on the show.
I believe it.
And also, I don't want you guys being like, "What, 8 out of 10?" But like, let me break it down to you guys. The reason I'm going to get it like an 8.5 out of 10 is because it's like a sitcom show. Like any sitcom show I watch, I'm not going to be like, "Wow, this is the best sitcom show I've ever watched." Like some people might feel like that about The Office, but it is what it is. Especially for us only getting one season of this show. There's not going to be a second season because that's not going to fit into any type of the source material. They did a great job of addressing Wanda's like grief. She was bought into poverty. Her family died due to Tony Stark. She kind of messed with the Avengers. Pretty much started the whole reason on why they were breaking up, but then forgave him, went into it, and then blew up a building. Her brother dies in one of the movies. Then they also do the Sokovia Accord. She gets to see the Avengers split up. That causes a whole different. So it's just a snowball effect of her going through her grief, and it just kept hitting her and hitting her and hitting her in every movie. That she's never really had any reconciliation with a lot of the things that happened, the people she's lost. So they did a really great job of painting that picture of like, this is a woman going through her grief of missing her loved ones and not knowing where to go, which was cool. And Marvel did a great job of doing that. And who knows, man? Maybe 5 years from now, something comes out and he is the Pietro from the X-Men. Like, Marvel does a great job at making you go back and rethink a lot of things. Like, I went back and rethought Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron, a lot of people don't like. I personally really loved it. This makes you appreciate it a lot more, seeing this. Which Marvel just, I don't know how they do it. Kevin Feige, like, I don't understand. Like, that man just needs something. I give him all the money. I don't know, but he does a great job. But guys, I really hope you appreciated WandaVision. Mike, do you have any last thoughts on the WandaVision show?
Yeah, I mean, like, well, first of all, here's your timestamp to join back into the conversation. Yeah, so sticking with that whole 8 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, just go check it out. Like I maybe you've seen some of the, the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, maybe you've seen all of them. It's a really, specifically right now, when there's not much to go out and do yet, as the world continues to reopen, close down again, reopen, kind of figure out what's going on. It's a great time. Like it's a good time to just kind of relax. And even though, like you said, like it's not a full movie, although it could be, they spent the same kind of money on it. It really does work as an episodic, because like you can watch a couple episodes and then kind of sit back and then take a day and then go back to it and watch a couple more episodes. It's very binge worthy. But yeah, man, Definitely would recommend. Anyone check it out.
Give it a watch, people. There's also end credit scene. I'm not going to talk about it, but it leads into Doctor Strange, and I think that's when we're going to get the multiverse, and it'll explain all that stuff. But Mike,
yeah,
you upset me a month ago. You were in Target early Saturday morning. Yeah. Mike, for you people, a lot of people are probably going to gasp in their car. Please keep both hands on the wheel. Do not get shocked. Mike walked in on a Pokemon restock. And by that, I mean, people, the boxes are on the shelf. The booster packs are on the like everything's on the shelf. And Mike was like, "Yeah, I was just in Target and everything was in there." I was like, "Mike, what are you talking about?" He said, "Yo, man, like they had everything stocked, like it was on there." And I said, "You didn't grab anything?" Mike was like, "No." I was like, "Yo, no way." So we're gonna dive into this Pokemon thing.
Right, like if you haven't grabbed it already, we are talking Pokemon cards specifically. It's no longer, I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. It's not to catch them. It's to unpack them. It's to unwrap them. It's to pull the card you want from the pack. Mm-hmm. Look, I was right there when Pokemon first came out, when I was part of that generation that first had it on, blue version, red version on the Game Boy. And when the cards first dropped, you better believe me and my sister were always grabbing them. The original OG booster packs that came with the like the holographic yeah, the char. Well, it came with Charizard and it came with Machamp, it came with like a holographic Machamp in it sometimes. And I even remember going to or like having like going to a party where like they were giving out goodie bags, and like the goodie bags were gonna have like holographic cards in them or something, as if it was nothing, right? Because back then, there really was no market when we were that age when they first dropped, and it was just a thing. Like, and the other weird thing about the cards in general is especially back then, is that I don't know anyone back then that would actually play the card game. Mm-hmm. It was just about collecting them. It was only about collecting them. And like you could play the card game if you wanted to, but no, like I personally didn't know anybody at the time that played it.
Me either.
And honestly, like I don't even own any of my own cards anymore. They all either got sold or they got stolen or taken. I know my sister still has like a whole binder full, but I don't think there's anything like super valuable in there. I don't think we ever had a Charizard or anything like that.
I would have to look at your binder to see.
I don't know. I would have to ask her to let me see them or anything like that. But so anyway, so yeah, kind of to pick up, where Dave brought in the story. So yeah, me and my wife were just, it's Saturday morning. It was like about 10 a.m. in the morning. We were just at like our local Target to get some things, like just doing a normal household run to Target. And I'm not currently into or focusing on collecting Pokemon cards. So like it just kind of wasn't on my radar. Like honestly, for me, like I have a bit into like Magic the Gathering cards and stuff like that, but not for like collecting, like literally just for deck building, and to be able to play the game, because I get together with my buddy Steve. Shout out Steve, Trust and Steel. We sometimes get together and play some Magic rounds, and stuff like that. And so that's cool for me. But anyway, so I was at Target, and yeah, I saw it must have been a brand new restock, kind of like what Dave's saying. They had all the boosters ready to go. They had all the stuff. And the only one that I know he was really mad about when I said it is, they had these boxes and they were like black and they said Shining Fates on them. And like, and I had no idea, right? I wasn't a part of this. Yeah. Don't like, see, it's kind of like being mad about spilt milk. You can't. It's already spilled, right? You don't know. Yep. And so like, later that day, or the day after, we were recording a podcast, and I just happened to kind of mention at the end of the podcast, after we were done talking about anything, we didn't even talk about Pokemon on that podcast. I forget which episode that was, but anyway, I'm like, yo, by the way, like, I know you're getting back into Pokemon cards. I saw them; they had a bunch at the Target, and And literally, Graves is just like, what? They, wait, like what? How many did they have? Was it just like a couple packs, like one pack? Was it just like a box, or? And I was like, no, it was like a full shelf, dude. It was like I don't know, like I just didn't think much of it. It was just a full shelf of everything you needed. And he goes, and he was started telling me about how certain packs are getting discontinued, and some of these cards are being pulled, and they're worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm just like, dude, I'm sorry I didn't grab any, like, and I just didn't know, and like he hasn't let me live it down since, because like like obviously people like, because if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock, like right now it's really big on TikTok, it's big on Twitch, it's big on YouTube. It's big just about anywhere you can find content. If you just go search like Pokemon cards or Pokemon on any platform, you're gonna find content creators doing pack openings where they legitimately get these packs. Sometimes they're buying them off of eBay for like way too much money, and then they're opening these like old school packs, these original like first gen packs, and they're trying to pull that Charizard, the holographic Charizard, because it's worth like several thousands, tens of thousands of dollars at this point. I don't know the exact number, but and yeah, I mean it's a piece of cardboard that's worth $50,000, which is wild. But then again, when you look at like the kind of empire that like Gary V is created off of like sports cards, because he's big into like finding old school sports cards and reselling those, and it makes sense that like the new generation that kind of grew up around this whole new card collecting, this environment, that for our generation, it's not necessarily about collecting the best baseball players card anymore. It's about collecting Pokemon cards, I guess. And there's just some really valuable stuff out there. But yo, man, like I know you've actually been getting your hands dirty with it, like buying packs yourself off the internet, trying to pull some stuff. So let's talk about your experience. I'm sorry I dropped the ball and did not know to pull the trigger and buy a Shining Fates Pokemon box. Listen, but then again, I don't know. I don't know. But I know now. And now in the future, if I happen to come across something like that, I could maybe pick it up and then be like, "Yo, Dave, I got this box. You want it?" Like, or I don't know. We can work that out. But yes, Dave, let's hear from you. Let's hear everything.
It's kind of hard. How do I explain like what you stumbled upon? It's like it's like a Destiny gun that's supposed to only drop like once, and you barely ever get the drop. That's what you stumbled on. Like that's what I mean. Like people on TikTok have been showing that, like, yo, the restocks happen, guys. Just keep No, they do not, guys. The minute they restock those things, like an hour after, these horrible, sorry if you're a reseller. I hate you guys. Do not be a reseller. People buy these things and like sell like those. You probably saw the hidden Fates boxes because they're black. People are selling those right now for upwards of like $300 to $250. They sell for $50 on retail. So people are doing that because they know people want it, and they just keep trying to benefit off of that and profit off of it, which sucks because someone who likes collecting it, as an adult or whatever, that's cool because they like collecting it. But also the kids don't get a chance to get anything. Like if I was in Target, I saw a Hidden Fate box, like a whole Pokemon restock, I might grab a box, I might grab a pack here and be like, I'm just gonna leave, and that's it. These people literally stick their arm in the shelf and shove all that stuff in the cart, and it's kind of sad because I'm like, you know what? You guys really aren't thinking of others. But at the same time, if you think back to when we were kids and you're asking your mom, can I have this, can I have that? And she's like, no, we don't have the money, no, we don't have the money. You became an adult and you want to buy it. So now these kids have that type of energy where it's, I couldn't get these cards when I was younger. Now I'm like 21 years old and I have the money, I have a job, I can get these cards now. So Pokemon will always have that snowball effect into, everybody wanting it. So we'll see. But yeah, there's a lot to dive into, guys. I've put in the hours. I've looked at some stuff. It's crazy. Me personally, I've been dialing it back a little bit, only for a simple fact. Like I said, the resellers buy stuff, so you have to buy it over the internet. I'm not a person who likes to buy stuff over the internet all like that. Some people can sell you fake cards. Some people can sell you resealed packs, which is crazy. I'd rather just pick it up in the store. So if I'm out, I'll find it in the store and keep it moving. But, if you guys ever liked Pokemon, now is the time to get back into it. The art is cool. The new cards are cool. Some of the new stuff is cool. I know I still play the game on my Switch, which I really enjoy. I haven't beaten it yet, which I need to. But Yeah, Mike stumbled on some crazy stuff, guys. I'm just letting you know, and I know a lot of people out there are like, no way, yeah, guys, it was crazy. But a lot of the different cards are worth a good bit right now. There's two Charizards. There's a shiny Charizard V Max, and there's a shiny Charizard V. And the V Max is worth like 800, and the shiny Charizard V is worth like a couple thousand, maybe.
That's crazy.
But it all depends on, they're reprinting a lot because they're hearing that people are doing this, reseller stuff. So they're trying to flood the market, so they put the prices down, which is usually what a lot of people do when things happen like that. I know Kanye West did it with his shoes. A lot of people do that. But yeah, it's crazy because a lot of people, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts on it and like YouTube videos on it, but these prices aren't supposed to be like this. They're not supposed to be like this for another 5 years. But they're like just inflating the market so much. Like you don't, like, anyone makes their own price pretty much. So if I put on a box that was worth 50 and I put it on there for like 500, everyone's going to go after that. So it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do. So it just makes things worse also. But the craze is going. It's sad that the kids aren't being able to get some stuff. Some of the YouTube influencers are making it worse. Unfortunately, I know a lot of them actually do care about Pokemon and watching it, and they're going to take means into selling their stuff to like families. Like they say, send a picture of you and your family in, so we have document proof, so we can send you these boxes and send you these things because we know people are going out there and buying them and being terrible human beings. So that's really cool, and I like to see how the world isn't such an evil place. There's still some good people out there who care about kids and want to get them the things they see, because it's nothing like seeing a kid light up getting something they've wanted for a very long time. I know I was like that with Transformers when I was a kid, because boy, them bad boys were it. Transformers. But whether it's Pokemon cards or baseball or whatever it is, I know we're in a pandemic. Whatever makes you happy, I kind of find it fun going out there to find stuff. I know I'm getting into Dragon Ball Z cards. I really enjoy Dragon Ball Z, so I think I might collect that too, just to dial back off the heat of Pokemon. Because you might get in a fist fight, guys. I'm telling you right now, be careful. You might get in a fist fight if you show up on Saturday like 10 a.m. like Mike. I don't know.
I mean, what's crazy though, like just kind of bring it back to that moment, just kind of putting you in my shoes. When I was looking at these cards, there was no one else looking at them.
Which target were you at, if you don't mind me asking? Was it Lionville?
Yeah. Yeah, no one else, like I like the vendor wasn't there. There wasn't like other traders or collectors near me looking at the cards. It was just me, the whole wall, and I was like, "Huh, look, they've got cards." Because I had been told that they that they're kind of hard to find in some places. So I was just like, "Oh, like look, they have some here." Like that's just, neat, I guess. And I just, obviously, I had no idea what I was looking at.
Guys, if we weren't recording a podcast, I might have got up and walked out the room right now. Like it's like, dude, I can't even explain it. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go there on a Saturday morning and see what happens, because that was wild.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was always a big fan of the video game, on the Game Boy. I'm still kind of reworking through Let's Go Eevee on the Switch. The new Pokemon that's coming out soon. I guess they just teased, I think, something for new Pokemon. Looks incredible. I'm sure at some point when that released, we'll probably do like a full review of it, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, we got to get our Switch code.